JavaScript tutorial 8, we're using Math.random to generate random numbers. Let's make a variable called x, and let's store a random number in it. We'll say let x equal math.random, and then a set of brackets. Math.random returns a random number between 0 and 0 point repeating 9. Log this to the console, and we get 0.61. If we keep refreshing it, we'll just get a different random number every time between 0 and 0 point repeating 9. And we can manipulate this value that math.random gives us to get different random numbers in different ranges. So if we wanted a random number between 0 and 1 point repeating 9, then we would just say math.random times 2. This gives us between 0 and 1 point repeating 9. Log it to the console, and we get 1.8, and we'll just keep getting random numbers between 0 and 1 point repeating 9. And lots of the time, we're not going to want a long decimal number like this. We're just going to want an integer value. To get an integer value, we just use something called math.floor. So in front of math.random, we'll put a set of brackets. And inside that set of brackets, we'll write math.floor. And then we'll put our math.random times 2 in brackets as well. Math.floor is just going to get rid of the decimals on the end of our number. So before we had a value between 0 and 1 point repeating 9. Now we'll get a value that is either 0 or 1, because math.floor is just going to give us the closest whole number beneath the value that math.random times 2 returns. So it won't round up, it'll just go beneath it every single time. Log this to the console, and we'll get a number that is either 0 or 1. Let's make math.random give us a number between 1 and 10 now. Let a equal math.floor times math.random times 10. If we left it as it is like this, we would get a random number between 0 and 9, but we wanted between 1 and 10. So we're going to say math.random times 10 plus 1. And that will give us a random number between 1 and 10. Because math.random gives us the number between 0 and 0 point repeating 9, and then we multiply that by 10, which gives us something between 0 and 9 point repeating 9, and then we're adding 1 to that, which will give us something between 1 and 10 point repeating 9, and then we use math.floor, which gives us a value between 1 and 10. So if we log a to the console right now, then we'll get random numbers between 1 and 10. Let's look at an example now where we might use math.random in a real situation. Let's take this last value that we had where a is a whole number between 1 and 10, and let's make an if-else block that will assign a player to a different team depending on the value of a that's returned. We'll say if a is equal to 1, then player team equals yellow. And we'll have to make player team, of course. We'll say let player team equal just an empty string to begin with. If 1 is returned, the player's team will be yellow. Else if 2 is returned, then the player's team will be green. Else if 3 is returned, the player's team will be blue. And if any other number is returned, then the player's team will be pink. And I didn't put blue in quotations. Go ahead and do that. and then we'll just console.log player team. If we run this, then we get 5. The player's team is pink, because any value between 4 and 10, then the player goes on team pink. 10, team pink, 6, team pink, 6, team pink, 8, team pink. We're getting a lot of team pinks here. Let's keep running this. We get 1 team yellow, 5 team pink, yellow, and blue. Everything is running as it should. Math.random is really useful. This is just one situation when you might use it, assigning someone to a random team. The logic of it can be a little bit hard to follow at first when we're getting the value from it, and then we're multiplying it by a number, and then adding a number to that, and then using math.floor on it. But once you do enough examples with it, then it just kind of becomes second nature.